upcoming campaign in the Indian Super League. To start things off, let's welcome the people on stage here. They've been working tirelessly throughout the pre-season so that we do well this year. So we'll start off with our CEO, Mr. Ravi Puskar, our head coach, Manolo Marquez, who has also recently assumed charge of the senior men's Indian national football team, and our players, Carl McHugh, who is also part of the team's leadership group this season, Sahil Tavora, one of our new signings, Arando Sadiku, also one of our new signings, and you all know Jay Gupta as well. So, before we start off, let me just give you a brief insight of what has happened so far this season. We bid goodbye to 13 players from the first team who were there last season. We made 12 new signings, and we started our pre-season preparations in July. And as part of our pre-season preparations, we also recently played in the Bhausaheb Bandukar Memorial Trophy, which we won. We played very well. We beat a few good teams, one from Australia, Brisbane Roar. All that happened, and now we have the media day. The ISL starts in a few days. We play our first game on the 17th. So I hope we see you all there as well. We'll start with the press conference now. After the press conference, there will be a photo op where you all get to click a group photo with our people here, and then there is also a time that has been allotted for you to do one-on-one interviews if you need with any of them. So we'll start off with the press conference. All right. Okay. So we will start off with questions for the players first, and then we move on to questions for Coach Manolo and Ravi. So if anybody has a question, please raise your hand. We'll and wait till the mic reaches to you, and then you can speak.
Carl, hi, good afternoon. Carl, you are actually part of the leadership group at FC Goa. You spent one season here already under Arando. What does it take for a team to win the ISL trophy or to win the shield? Is it just the purpose, is it the environment, or is it a mix of everything? You having won trophies yourself?
I think it's a mix of everything. Obviously the players on the pitch, the whole squad, how the club is run, how the training's done throughout the season. I think it's a mix of everything. I think the team spirit is very important. It's a very important factor in having a successful season. And I think we laid foundations last season. We improved the club's position a lot from where it was in the previous season. We came really close to major honours, and we weren't far away from the shield and the trophy, and it's given us a lot to build on this year, but we know we still have to improve, and we've obviously had a lot of new signings coming in, and players have stayed from last season, so we've got a lot to build on to be successful, but I think it's just working hard, the team spirit, and I think we've had a successful pre-season so far, and we're really looking forward to starting the proper competition on Tuesday.
Do you see any major difference compared to the team last year, and how you performed to how you started right this season?
I think probably just there's more familiarity in working with how the coach wants to work. A lot of us have worked under him for a year, and there's players that have worked under him before, so you start to build connections with the players. You understand what the coaching staff want from you more. And I think if you look at football in general around the world, the longer a coaching staff and a manager are within the one club, I think success is more likely to occur because people are more used to operating together and there's more chemistry between the players. So,
Coach, I'm going to ask you
First player. First
player. Coming back to FC Goa team now, how do you feel being back home, and what are your preparations?
I'm back after 8 seasons, so I'm very happy to be back. My objectives, I was obviously following the team last year, and they had a very, very good season. And my objectives are just to help the team whenever I can, and hopefully to build on last year. Last year they came really close and was very close to getting those trophies like Carl said. So I'm sure that will be the objective, but step by step and one year at a time only.
My question is Arando. You scored 6 goals in the Pausar Tendulkar Memorial Trophy, the pre-season for you in the FC Goa. You scored 6 goals for the FC Goa in the Pausar Tendulkar Memorial Trophy. So, what is your now next target for the FC Goa in coming season?
Yeah, we start 17 in the league and we are preparing. We do very good season, pre-season, and I will try to give my best for the team, to score goals like I know to do. I don't run so much, but I compensate with the goals. So I hope to score a lot of goals. But first of all, I find one very familiar team and very, the club like a family who help a lot of players. And I'm realistic. I'm very happy to be part of Goa, and my feeling is I will do for sure very good here.
I have a question for Jai Gupta. You made a big impression last season playing for FC Goa. You were also you played for India recently. You were being written off as a India probable last season. So, how was the overall experience? How did you grow in that last season?
I think a lot of information was basically pushed at me in a very short time. It was all about me understanding how to process all of it. So I think last season I was just trying to get back to my roots. It was my first year in professional football, so I was just trying to understand how to kickstart my journey. I think this year is more about how I stay in my form and how I build on that.
Any more questions?
Yeah. Arando, you had a choice of joining either FC Goa or Kerala Blasters. What made you choose FC Goa?
Yeah, it's true. I have Kerala also, but after I speak with the coach. I know him from before, and when we play against Goa, we speak a lot together. And after I speak with him, I choose directly Goa because I know his philosophy and I know him from the Spain also, and the people here also a lot of foreigners from Spain, and yeah, of course, last year they do very good, and I see all the games the last year, and I want to be here, but directly I choose to come in Goa because it's from the coach and the club is perfect for me.
Carl, we have a question for you. So, throughout last season and so far this team as well, you've been contributing both defensively, build-up play. You played a role of a sort of an anchor in the midfield. So how do you balance these responsibilities, and how have you seen yourself adapting to Coach Manolo's system at FC Goa over the past year? I mean, have you had to make changes to your own style of play and all that?
Not really. Obviously, when you change a new club and a new coach, there's slight changes, but no, it's been basically trying to play my own game. I was very lucky last season to have a lot of very good players around me, and we found a system that was solid, and it worked well together. So yeah, I'm happy, very happy, very comfortable when I'm playing. I'm just looking to work hard again this season to help the team as much as I can.
All right, thank you. Sahil, more like a follow-up. So, and now in the midfield, we have a lot of experienced players like Arando, and now you have joined it. We have also a lot of young players, talented, who are looking to break in, make the most of their opportunity, etc. How do you see yourself fitting into this dynamic here at FC Goa this season?
No, I think like you mentioned, in the midfield we have a lot of good players. Carl being one of them. There's also Ayush, Rolling, one of the really good midfielders. There's Borja as well. So I think when you have competition for those positions, I think the level in training goes up, and it's almost like you have to compete every day to get your spot and to get the minutes that you want to play. And I think with this you improve as a player, and also to be competitive, to give 100% in training, to work hard. You know that if you don't show up in training or the games, that maybe there's another very good player that's probably going to take your spot in a minute. So I think this competition in midfield, it helps. And yeah, I just want to keep my best all the time that I play for the team.
Thank you, Sahil. Jay, last season you played mostly as in the left back position, but in some previous media interactions, etc., Coach Manolo himself has said that you may compete more for a centre back role this year. So how do you feel about this potential role change, and how well are you up for this challenge?
Obviously, it's a switch in position, but obviously I have roots for the centre back position. I think about positions, I always assume that it is an advantage for a player to be able to play two positions, because it's an advantage for a coach as well when he has a selection process. Obviously, it's a change for me, so it takes some time to understand how I need to go about my role as now a centre back in his system. So it takes time, but at the end of the day, it's all about putting in the work and stepping up.
Thank you, Jay. And finally, Armando, first of all, congrats on the Golden Boot and Goalkeeper trophy. You've come, and in a very short time you've scored a lot of goals and not a lot. You will score a lot more. But yeah, you've scored I think 6 goals in 5 matches and everything. So you've already started to become like a fan favorite here at FC Goa. So, and how do you feel about the fan support that has come to you so far since joining the club? And how did you feel about the experience of meeting some of them through events like the Goa Fest, etc.? How much of a role do they play in motivating you to do better?
Yeah, I receive a lot of message from the fans, and I say just thank you, and I will show them to score a lot of goals and to be them happy. So I invite them to come in the stadium also, because last games we are not a lot, but we hope in ISL there will be a lot of support to support us, because we have a very competitive team, and we will do the best to make them happy, and to score goals, to win, and inshallah we will be better than last year.
Thank you, Armando. Any more questions for players? Alright, we now move on to questions for Coach Manolo and Ravi. Sorry? They can say, because we'll take a photo with all of these people after. Can you talk to me, sir?
Hi, Coach.
Hello.
Last season, FC Goa was top of the table, but last moment, 2 semi-final in the row lost. So, how do you see this season?
This season?
Yeah.
It's true that was a good season, but finally, during a season there are good bad moments, and we had some bad games just in the beginning of the second leg, and this didn't allow us to win the shield. But it's true that the season the team performed good, and in some moments very good. Then if we speak about the semi-final against Mumbai, is sometimes accidents that happen in football. It's not very common, no, that you are winning one game 2-0 and you concede 3 goals in the injury time. But the season was good, but we need to be ambitious and we will try. We know that there are a lot of teams in the same situation, but we will be one of them for sure.
One more question. Will the team miss Brandon?
You always miss the good players, but it's the law of football, the life of football, no? It's normal. You have good players, then they sign in another club, and more in modern football. Then you sign another players. It's true that we have another kind of team this season. And if you ask me, I'm very optimistic about this season.
Question for Ravi. FC Goa, there are 13 players who have departed, as Hari has said, and 12 have come in. What was the reason that as many as 13 have left, and are FC Goa rebuilding, or are we going to, mount a title challenge? If a club has a big ambition, a number like 13 players leaving looks like it's really not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, to give context to that, if you look at all the ISL teams, actually I was just doing that process before coming to this thing. I think most teams there's an average of 14, 15 players leaving and 14, 15 new players being signed. And this is a churn that happens across the world, right? Just because players are more keen now to change opportunities, I don't think the concept of loyalty is as strong as it once was in football. Financially also things are not the same as they once used to be, particularly in the ISL as well. So there's always new opportunities that will crop up for players. Our job as a club is to try and find the best possible replacements and build a squad that we think can necessarily compete with the very best in the league. And I think we brought in players, different types of players, as the coach mentioned. But we think we have a good balanced squad that will allow us to compete for top honors. So yeah, I don't think we're in the process of rebuild as such. I think we're stable. This is the first time in 4 seasons now that the coach that we had last season is the coach that continues to remain the coach this season. As Carl and everybody else has mentioned as well, they've all had the benefit of having worked with the coach for 1 season. So I don't think we're building the foundation of the team this season. I think that was already done last season with some very good results. I think this season is about improving on the finer details because as last season clearly demonstrated to us, it's the fine details of the season that will mark how high up the table you finish and how many championships you have in your category.
Yeah, coach. From the start of the first season of ISL till date, it's really difficult to understand that you all come close to the cup. What do you think?
What do you see the previous season or?
In the last so many seasons.
Yes.
Your FC Goa comes close to the cup, but they lose it. Why? What could be the reason?
Only one team can win, and this is very difficult. Yes. And sorry, I want to add one thing about your question. For me, in modern football, to change 12, 13 players is not. I think that this is the most common. I think the problems are not this. The problem are the agents that they are killing the football. This is the problem. Then about your question is, we will try again, but in some moments we get the scores that we want. In some moments we couldn't. For example, we were close last season. It's true that big injuries in key position were very important, but this is part of football. For sure that if you speak with the coach that finished 2nd or 4th or 5th, because finally we finished 3rd, but don't forget that we finished 2nd. We finished 3rd because Mumbai got 2 more points because Jamshedpur made they play with 1 player who couldn't play. Then if not, our season would be even better than the final result.
A question to coach. Last season in the second leg, we were a bit worried and upset with the defensive errors of the team. So with the pre-season and now the season is starting, are you satisfied with the preparation in the defensive?
Yes. I'm happy, but not with the Preseason. Sometimes, yeah, the Preseason was good in terms of scores, but obviously in Preseason you need to work a lot of things, and the team worked very good in all the aspects. The predisposition, the training sessions is very good, and this is the reason that I told before that I say that I am optimistic. But we know, because now we have experience in ISL, we know that every game is very difficult, very tough, and finally, again, the good team is the team who recover faster after one bad score, because one bad score will arrive for sure.
Coach, we have a lot of injuries at the start of the season. APR had a long-term injury, he's coming back from surgery. Sandesh is coming back from surgery. Arando also coming back from surgery. Plus, you have Yasir who's injured. Will the absence of these players hurt the team at the start of the ISL?
And Alan Sally also. Yeah, we have 5 players with bad injuries. Some of them, they are very close to come back. And finally, this is a team. Injuries is the worst part in football. But we have a competitive squad, and this is that we need to show in every game. And finally, as a coach, you want players that even without 3-4 teammates, they can perform very good and to win the game, because finally is the final target.
Question for the coach. Now also being India coach, does this give you more insight into reading the Indian players across the other teams, in the other teams? Does it give you an advantage being a FC Goa coach?
I would like to avoid questions about national team, but I understand. No, for me, again, finally it's about to be professional, and we arrived to the train session in FC Goa. I remember the other day I arrived directly. We arrived as a staff directly, and we trained, and the session was very good, and changed the chip, and that's all. And now, as you say, we know all the Indian players, what we knew before, and that's all. Now we are very focused in our game against Jamshedpur, and let's see.
Coach, Arshdeep is out, so whom you looking at the goalkeeper for the first match?
I won't tell you. But one goalkeeper will play. This I can.
Coach, it was a brave decision of you to bring back Katimani, given the history of Katimani with FC Goa and what has happened in the past. What were the reasons that made you show faith in Katimani, the goalkeeper?
If you ask me, in my 5 seasons in India, Katimani is the best goalkeeper. In these 5 seasons, I know that he has
the best goalkeeper that you have trained.
That I have trained. Even that I saw. Because a lot of goalkeepers, they make a lot of mistakes, and I don't remember, of course, for sure, mistakes everyone, even if he's a goalkeeper, it's very clear, no? But even every player, every coach, every person involved in this. But I don't remember too many mistakes of Katimani in these 5 seasons in India. And then he's a goalkeeper that I'm very confident. But we have 2 very good goalkeepers also. Because if no, I reply the question of your me. Let's see who will play, but I think that we don't have problems in the goal. We have 3 good goalkeepers.
Ravi, you've been with the team since 2015, rising up the ranks. as a fan of the club, do you understand this fascination for winning a trophy, given that the club has already won the Shield, won the Durham Cup, won the Motherwell Trophy recently? But can you explain, or not from management side, from a fan point of view, do you understand the fascination for the trophy?
No, of course. I mean, this is one debate that me and the coach had last season, and I think at some point through the course of the season as well, that, you know, if you had to prioritize, would you prioritize the Shield or the trophy? If you look at it from the club perspective, you would always say let's prioritize the Shield, because the Shield gets you into Asian competition in Asian football, which is a notch above where we currently play, right? But I also do understand and empathize with the fans' feeling that, you know, you want to win the trophy. More than anything else, I think it's because of the way that we've lost the couple of finals or semi-finals that we've been in. To be within touching distance, I think that is the manner. More than anything else, it's not about not having won. I think it's the manner in which we've lost the opportunities that we've had. I think that makes that sort of, you know, the holy grail for the fans in terms of the trophy that they want to win desperately.
Yeah, रवि सर, जब शुरू में मैच खेले एफसी गोवा टीम टॉप ऑफ द टेबल रहते हैं, लेकिन एंड ऑफ द मोमेंट लास्ट मोमेंट में फाइनल सेमीफाइनल में हार जाती है. तो आईपीएल में जैसे आरसीबी टीम है लास्ट मोमेंट में हार जाती है, वैसे हम आईएसएल की एफसी गोवा आरसीबी टीम कह सकते हैं.
अभी डायरेक्ट कंपैरिजन कर सकते हैं या ना कर सकते, वो तो मुझे अच्छे से मालूम नहीं है, पर हमारी कोशिश हमेशा रहती है कि हम जितना ऊपर स्टार्ट में सीजन की वहीं पे फिनिश करें. पर कभी कभी सिचुएशन ज़्यादा है, जैसे हमें एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं था कि हमारे 2 की प्लेयर जनवरी में इंजर हो जाएंगे. उसके हिसाब से ऑब्वियसली प्लान बदलता है, सिस्टम बदलता है, मैचेस भी और मुश्किल होते हैं. पर ऑब्वियसली हमारा इंटेंशन हमेशा रहता है कि ऊपर रहे, और ऑब्वियसली इंटेंशन रहता है कि हम जितनी ट्रॉफी जीतने की कोशिश करें.
ट्रॉफी की प्रतीक्षा बढ़ती जा रही है.
जी हाँ, मेरी भी प्रतीक्षा उसी में है.
Coach, this is a question, this is a debate that starts at the start of every season. Is the ISL competition getting better or getting tougher? How do you look at the competition this year vis-a-vis FC Goa? Because clubs like Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, Bangalore, Mumbai, they've all spent heavily. Plus, Chennai has made a lot of signings. Odisha is very stable. FC Goa also quite a stable team. So how do you look at FC Goa's competition compared to the other teams?
I feel that this season is very hard. Everyone told last season. For me, last season, I was not agree. Even I told you in some press conferences that for me was not one of the best ISLs. I think that this season, as you say, there are some things. Chennai practically the new team with players with the style of Owen. The continuity in Odisha, the signings in Bengaluru, of course Mohun Bagan and Mumbai, and obviously FC Goa. Even some more teams, I think Northeast will perform good. East Bengal spend a lot of money also. This seems that will be a very competitive season, but let's see, because it's impossible that all these teams win. Then for sure. We need to start in a good way, because it's a competition that is not very long. It's only 24 games, but we need to be regular in the competition, without too much up and downs.
Coach, how do you see new entry of Mohammedan Sports Club?
English? Sorry. I think that it's okay. We need more teams. More than 13. It's in a good competition, at least 16, 18, 20 teams. But let's see, because I know that it's difficult in a competition without relegation and everything is not easy. 13 teams. When I arrived, I think in the ISL 1 were 8, and now they are 13. Obviously, it's better, but India needs more teams in ISL.
Any more questions? Coach, the Bandorkar Trophy gave FC Goa an opportunity to play a few competitive matches in the pre-season and see where you stand, etc. And good for us that the tournament ended well. We won a trophy. It builds the confidence within the team. It sets a more positive atmosphere in the dressing room, etc. But on the other side, it also means that the players, they've played a few extra matches. The weather was tough, the pitch conditions, etc. were tough. Injuries had happened, etc. But so overall, how do you look at how the tournament has benefited or helped FC Goa before the ISL?
Yes, good and bad things. Good things is that we were champions. We played very good games, very competitive games. Even I have to congratulate Mangi and Guramangi Singh and Nasir because they were the staff when we were in the national team, and we were watching the games. It's completely different. I enjoyed a lot. I have to tell you that I enjoyed a lot watching the game, how the team played, how they gave everything in both games, in the semi-final and in the final. In the negative part is maybe for the people who organize the tournament to play all the games in the same stadium. Finally, it's hard, it's tough because the pitch is not in good conditions. I feel that the injury of Alan is because the pitch was in bad conditions, because the rain was very strong every day, and 2 games was 15 games in 12 days. Finally 14 because we play 1 game in tempo. But in terms of competitions, to compete against Australian team, these teams, finally is that we are asking for India, to play this kind of competitive game, not always against the same teams.
So you do feel that the tournament did more good for you than harm? Is that what you feel?
It's good, but maybe in more venues.
Okay.
And maybe little more than 3 days between games if we won it, because it was 1 game every 3 days and tough games. Then, but the tournament was very good.
All right. Thank you, coach. Any more questions?
Coach, hi. You have dual roles now, one with FC Goa and also with Team India, and there's pressure from both the sides with FC Goa trying to lift the cup and also with regards to India also going ahead. So how do you see this season, especially for you, with having pressure and a kind of leadership that you need to take forward in winning in both the sides of India as well as FC Goa?
Yeah, one sentence that I used to say is that this is part of the salary. When you speak, is if Goa win and national team no, they will say it's only focusing Goa. If it's the opposite, it will be the opposite. But finally, I arrived after a tough defeat against Syria the other day, and we were completely focused in the training session. And I was very happy to meet all of them and train with them. And it will be the same always. Finally, it's completely different. It's not the first time, won't be the last time that one coach train both teams in the same moment. It's true that it's not very common, but there is time for both jobs, and I can promise you that we will work very hard in both sides.
Any more questions? Okay, so we'll wrap up the press conference here. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you Ravi, thank you Coach Manolo and each one of you, Carl, Sahil, Armando and Jay. Next up we'll move on to one-on-one interactions.